Is the ketogenic diet dangerous? That's what we're going to look at in today's Ask Yuri video.
Ask Yuri. You've got a health and fitness question? I've got an answer.
Hey guys, what's up? Yuri here. I'm just kind of moving around because I'm a little bit stiff, so I just got to keep my legs nice and limber. So I've got a question here from Shayani. Hopefully that's how you pronounce your name. So she wants to know, what are my thoughts on the cyclic ketogenic diets? Her brother recently started this and she was wondering if it's safe. And there we go. So what is a ketogenic diet? Essentially, a ketogenic diet is no carbohydrates, more or less. So ketogenic means that the ketone bodies are formed. And what's cool is actually ketones are actually burned much cleaner inside the body than glucose is, which is pretty interesting, which gives some merit to having no carbohydrates, at least for a very short period of time. So I have a buddy of mine, Ben Greenfields, who's just a really smart dude. He's a triathlete as well, who was training for triathlons doing a ketogenic diet. So essentially his diet consisted of meat, vegetables, and coconut oil, because coconut oil is a great precursor to ketone bodies in your body. So ketone bodies come from the breakdown of fats, and then those are converted into ketones and so forth. So it's a very clean source of fuel, and your brain actually prefers ketones to carbohydrates like sugar, specifically glucose. Now, I'm not saying that you should do that every single day. However, what Shayani's question is a cyclic ketogenic diet beneficial? Well, if you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about this concept where it goes something like this. Some days high, some days low, some days no. Some days you have high food intake, right? High caloric intake. Other days you have lower caloric intake. And other days you have no caloric intake. So you can think of it like this. On a day of fasting, if you're just going to drink some water, that would be a one-day fast, for instance. That essentially becomes a ketogenic day, right? There's no carbohydrates coming in. Your body is going to start to convert things into ketone bodies, and that's going to be your source of fuel. So that can be considered a cyclic ketogenic diet. Some days where you have high calories, you might have, higher intakes of carbohydrates if you wanted to. You don't have to, though. You can still take higher amounts of calories in through higher protein and higher fat foods. Right? You don't have to bring the carbohydrates in, but it's a really interesting concept, and I don't know if this has really been explored. I think there's really a lot of room for exploration in this specific area, because it really brings into question whether or not we even need carbohydrates in our diet at all. And some people arguably have said that the only essential macronutrients that the human body requires are proteins and fats. Which is interesting, because we can use those as fuel sources. Carbohydrates, we don't really absolutely need. We can survive without them. So it brings up some interesting debates within this area. Now, having said that, I do believe there are some health benefits to a cyclic ketogenic diet. And by that I mean there are some benefits to eating fewer carbohydrates, and some days no carbohydrates. Because remember, sugar, refined carbohydrates are the demise of our healthcare, okay? Of our health, really. Sugar skyrockets your blood sugar levels, which leads to a skyrocketing of insulin. And if you have too much insulin over time, you can develop insulin resistance. Then we get diabetes and obesity and all that good stuff. Okay? I don't know if you're unaware, but diabetes and obesity are big problems in the States and the Western world. And why is that? Is it because we're eating too much meat? Is it because we're eating too much coconut oil? No, it's not. It's because we're eating too much garbage that is carbohydrate based. Now, I'm not saying carbohydrates are bad, because there are essential carbohydrates, like vegetables are a form of carbohydrates. Some non-sweet fruit like berries and apples and pears are terrific. But when we focus on breads, pastas, cereals, grains, if that becomes the bulk of our diet based on the fact that we've been led to believe and marketed to that Cheerios and bread and all these other whole grains are important for us, that has led us down a very, very, very dark path. So the benefits to not eating carbohydrates is that it allows your body to just not have to pump out so much insulin. You're not going to store as much fat. You're not going to create as much inflammation. And in a ketogenic state, again, I wouldn't recommend doing that indefinitely, but sporadically, there are definitely some benefits to doing that. So Shiny, that would be my answer to you. So I do believe that there are some benefits to it. Now, it really depends on how your brother is cycling that ketogenic diet, I really have no idea what that looks like for him, but I just want to give you my 2 cents here, and hopefully that can give you some guidance. Now remember, he has to be doing things correctly, right? If he's not doing things properly, then he could be doing his body some damage. So you definitely want to be following somebody who's done this and well versed in ketones and ketogenic diets. And again, I don't think it's something that is a lifetime sustainable type of approach, but I think intermittently it can have tremendous benefits. And I would probably, to be completely honest, I would say that certain days for me are definitely ketogenic, just because I don't eat as many carbohydrates or no carbohydrates on those days. And it's not because I'm trying to; it's just a natural kind of going with the flow of how my body is feeling that day. So there we go. Hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully that gives you some more clarity as to the ketogenic diet and some of its benefits, and obviously some of the things to look out for. So 2 things. If you want to get more of my awesome videos, you can subscribe. There should be a subscription video somewhere, or a subscription link. I can't even speak anymore. Second thing is, if you want a question answered by me, yours truly, Yuri, join me over on my Facebook page. Be sure to like the page and join our community for all the awesome updates we're always providing. And ask me your question on my Facebook wall. I will take your question, create a video for you. Hopefully, if I can, I'll do my very best. And there we go. So you might be seeing your question answered in an upcoming Ask Yuri video. It's the least I can do to help you guys out and impart some of my wisdom. And that's what I'm here to do. So thanks for watching. I'm Yuri Elkaim, and I will see you in the next video.